Hello and welcome to History by AI, the channel where I explore the fascinating stories of the past with the help of my artificial intelligence assistant, Leo. Leo is a smart and curious AI who loves to learn new things and share them with you. He can also generate amazing visuals and animations to make history come alive. In this episode, we will learn about Cleopatra, one of the most famous and influential rulers of ancient Egypt. Cleopatra was not only a beauty, but also a brilliant strategist, diplomat, linguist, and goddess. She had a hand in the deaths of 3 of her siblings. She had 4 children with 2 of the most powerful men in Rome, and she fought in a naval battle against the future emperor of the Roman Empire. She also knew how to make an entrance, like when she met Julius Caesar for the first time wrapped in a carpet. But how did she end her life? Did she really commit suicide by snakebite? Let's find out together in this episode of History by AI. Cleopatra was a fascinating and influential ruler of ancient Egypt. Here are some interesting facts about her. 1. She was not Egyptian while Cleopatra was born in Egypt. She traced her family origins to Macedonian Greece and Ptolemy I Soter, one of Alexander the Great's generals. She was the first member of the Ptolemaic dynasty to learn the Egyptian language and embrace many of its customs. 2. She was the product of incest like many royal houses. Members of the Ptolemaic dynasty often married within the family to preserve the purity of their bloodline. Cleopatra eventually married both of her adolescent brothers, Ptolemy XIII and Ptolemy XIV, who served as her ceremonial spouses and co-regents at different times. 3. She had a hand in the deaths of 3 of her siblings. Cleopatra was involved in power struggles and murder plots against her brothers and sisters. She ran out of Egypt by Ptolemy XIII after she tried to take sole possession of the throne, but she returned with the help of Julius Caesar and defeated him in a civil war. She later had Ptolemy XIV killed to make her son Ptolemy XV Caesar, also known as Caesarion, her co-ruler. She also ordered the execution of her sister Arsinoe, who she considered a rival to the throne. 4. She knew how to make an entrance. Cleopatra believed herself to be a living goddess, and she often used clever stagecraft to woo potential allies and reinforce her divine status. One of her most famous stunts was when she met Julius Caesar for the first time. She had herself smuggled into his palace wrapped in a carpet and then emerged in front of him as a surprise. She also sailed up the Nile with Mark Antony in a lavish boat decorated with gold, silver, purple sails and perfumed oars. 5. She was more than a beauty. Roman propaganda painted Cleopatra as a debauched temptress who used her sex appeal as a political weapon, but she may have been more renowned for her intellect than her appearance. She spoke as many as a dozen languages and was educated in mathematics, philosophy, oratory and astronomy. She was also a shrewd diplomat and strategist who expanded Egypt's influence and wealth through trade and military campaigns. 6. She had 4 children. Cleopatra had one son with Julius Caesar, Ptolemy XV Caesar, who she claimed was Caesar's heir. However, Caesar never publicly acknowledged him as his son, and he was later killed by Octavian's orders. Cleopatra also had 3 children with Mark Antony, twins Alexander Helios and Cleopatra Selene, and another son Ptolemy Philadelphus. After their parents' deaths, they were taken to Rome as captives and raised by Octavian's sister Octavia. 7. She was involved in a love triangle. Cleopatra's most famous lovers were Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, 2 of the most powerful men in Rome. However, she also had a complicated relationship with Octavian, later Augustus, Caesar's adopted son and heir. Octavian initially sought an alliance with Cleopatra after Caesar's assassination, but he later became her enemy when he learned that she had supported Antony in the civil war against him. He also spread rumors that Cleopatra wanted to make Caesarion the king of Rome and move the capital to Alexandria. 8. She fought in a naval battle. Cleopatra was not only a political leader but also a military commander. She personally led several naval fleets in support of Mark Antony against Octavian's forces. The most famous battle was the Battle of Actium in 31 BC, where Cleopatra and Antony faced off against Octavian's navy in the Ionian Sea. The battle was a decisive victory for Octavian, who managed to destroy most of Antony's ships and force him and Cleopatra to flee back to Egypt. 9. She committed suicide by snakebite after losing the Battle of Actium. Cleopatra and Antony retreated to Alexandria, where they were besieged by Octavian's army. Antony received false news that Cleopatra had killed herself, and he stabbed himself in despair. He was brought to Cleopatra's mausoleum, where he died in her arms. Cleopatra then tried to negotiate with Octavian, but he refused to grant her any concessions. She realized that he intended to parade her as a prisoner in his triumph in Rome, and she decided to end her life rather than face that humiliation. According to the ancient sources, she killed herself by allowing an asp, a venomous snake, to bite her on the chest. 10. She was the last pharaoh of Egypt. Cleopatra's death marked the end of the Ptolemaic dynasty and the ancient Egyptian civilization. Octavian annexed Egypt as a province of the Roman Empire and became its first emperor under the name Augustus. He also erased most traces of Cleopatra's rule and tried to tarnish her reputation in history. However, Cleopatra's legacy lived on in art, literature and popular culture, where she has been portrayed as a symbol of beauty, power, love and tragedy. What do you think of Cleopatra's personality? That's a good question. Cleopatra's personality is hard to judge from the historical sources, which are often biased or incomplete. However, based on what we know, I think she was a very complex and charismatic person. She was ambitious, intelligent, courageous, passionate and adaptable. She also had a sense of humor and a flair for drama. She could be ruthless, manipulative, cunning and seductive when it suited her goals, but she could also be loyal, generous, compassionate and devoted to her lovers and children. She was a woman who defied the norms and expectations of her time and culture, and who left a lasting impression on the world. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe for more episodes like this one. History awaits, my friends. See you soon.